and welcome back to Bon Appetina. I'm Tina, and this is Bill.
Bill, I like it.
Today we're going to be making potato pizza.
Just show him the shirt. No plugs necessary.
We're going to be making potato pizza that we served down at the deli. It got top 10 Boston Globe magazine. It was 2 years ago.
Yep. Phantom Gourmet, Chronicle, all that good stuff. It
Blah,
is
blah, blah.
delicious.
So what you will need to make our famous potato pizza is some milk at room temperature. Of course, the dough. I'm going to use today ready-made dough just because we only have a half an hour. Some butter.
Butter's better.
Butter's better. Flour, salt, rosemary, Knorr dried chicken stock. Knorr.
No saffron water, huh?
No saffron water. This is Knorr. I love this stuff. I use it in a few recipes. Some dried sage and some ground garlic. And of course, a whisk.
Whisk. Magic whisk.
So we're going to start by stretching out some dough. And the dough, I'm going to show it to you in 3 stages.
She's the only one that knows how to do this, so.
I'm the only one that will do it. He refuses to do it. Okay, so rather than start this recipe with dough, which I can touch on another show, we're just going to start with some piantadosi dough that's already made. It's frozen. For a Sicilian square sheet this size, you need 22 ounces. These are both 16 ounces. Would you pass me one of those big knives? Right there, yes, thank you. So we're going to cut some of this off. So that's approximately, so this is approximately 22 to 25 ounces. So we're going to get this all together, or you could just get the 22 ounce, which we needed in the first place.
She's basically saying I made a mistake.
What was it the last show? 110 ounces of tomatoes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be specific with the devil. Okay, so we got this all incorporated so that there's no seams. And we're gonna put some oil down. So the reason that I use oil rather than flour like most people do is because I like to have it a little bit crispy. And you'll see when we continue with this recipe why. We actually bake this dough 3 times.
Not once. 3 times.
So we're going to let this sit, and it's going to proof just a little bit. We're going to cover it in some saran wrap. And Billy, would you pass me the one that's already done? Yes. Removing that dollop of dough. Excellent. So now this one has been sitting for about 25, 30 minutes. So it is, I think, yes, it is.
That looks perfecto.
It's ready to be stretched. So I'm just going to take some of the air out of it. So when you're stretching a dough, which Billy refuses to retain, you want to go into the middle. So my hand is kind of going to go into a fist, and then I'm going to spread my thumb and fingers out underneath the dough. So if you're looking, you can see that my hand is opening and closing, kind of like...
You just said closing while your fingers were opening. That was awesome.
Was it?
Yeah. Was
And
that?
so, yeah,
oh my God.
You don't want to continue to go to the middle because you don't want the middle to be too thin. So you want to go to the edges of the dough, pulling it all out. See, and now I have not removed all the air from this either because you don't want to work the dough too much. You want it to maintain its integrity. There we go. Unlike Bill on a Saturday night. Okay, so now this is the second stage of the dough. So now we're going to cover this in saran wrap, nice and tight, and we're going to let this sit on the counter or a warm place for a good 45 minutes.
At least, yep.
At least. Unless you have a proofer in your oven. My oven has a proofer, but I don't like to show off. So we're just going to do it the old fashioned.
Why don't you proof it to them that you're not showing off?
Yeah, take this and let's show them the one that's already done.
Amazing how fast that was.
So this, I
rising.
put this together about an hour and a half ago. And look at that, is a beauty. Be really careful when you're taking the plastic off. And if your dough has come away from the edges, just pull it out a little bit. And this, Billy is going to put this into a 350-degree oven, and we're going to toast it the first time. Okay, so now we're going to make the bechamel for the potato pizza.
That's another thing that I don't do.
That's true, but you can keep it coming.
But today I can start.
Yeah, you can pretend.
Okay.
The bechamel that I make for this pizza is not your typical bechamel. It is a lot thicker, of course, because we're using it for a pizza dough. Right. You could also stick with this recipe and use it in pasta dishes, serve it with fish. There's a multitude of things you could do with this sauce, and once you've tasted it, you'll see yourself what you think you might like to do.
I think you need to tell the viewing audience about the potato pizza madness from 2 years ago. How many pizzas? 10,000 for Phantom Gourmet Fest.
Oh, that was horrible.
She served about 10,000 pieces of potato pizza at the Phantom Gourmet Food Fest. And
yes, I did.
I got to just run the shop while she ran around like a lunatic.
That's because I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's because I didn't know. I did not know. Now I know.
And knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Is that a thing? I don't think I've ever heard that. Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Wow, that was from the 80s and you didn't know that?
Okay, so this
You want to smell it?
What is this? You want to smell it?
Margarine.
This is... It's butter. Okay, so this is going to go into your heavy-bottomed...
I beg your pardon.
pan. And we're going to let that melt out. Ooh.
She's stepping on my toe.
Oh my
right
God,
now.
this man has size 14 feet. Now
Lost in the river.
now I need the garlic. So we're going to melt this down. And to this, we're going to add some chopped garlic. I would say this is about 5 or 6 cloves. Minced.
Yes.
Fine.
You're probably right. One more. I'm going to start chanting for the potato pizza.
Okay, and we're going to let this melt down. My doorbell. I have not had a doorbell since I've had Stella.
Which one do you need?
Okay, so now I need the
Chicken stock?
chicken stock. We're going to add about 3 tablespoons of Knorr dried chicken stock. Okay, so you get the Knorr dry chicken stock nice and incorporated. And then we're going to add onion and garlic powder to the mix, about a tablespoon. Get that all mixed in.
I'll pass that to you if you need it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
How about some salt, Bill?
Some salt. Here is the salt.
Thank you. We're just going to put about a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and now we're going to put the flour in. Oopla. Oop. So we need to cook this flour. This is about a cup and a half of flour. And we need to cook this flour before we add the milk because we want this to thicken up. Let's get this a little lower. There we go. And we're going to incorporate all of this up. Now, Bill, while I'm doing this, what say you get the potatoes ready?
All right.
All right, you want to get the cutting board out of here. Here's a knife.
I'm going to do what I usually do, just chop.
And cut those potatoes in half.
Oh, only in half?
Yeah, because we're going to use the food processor. Actually, I'm going to need the rest of that flour. It is precisely 2 cups of flour. Good job, Bill. And this almost looks like mashed potatoes. Don't you think?
Yeah, it does.
Or gruel.
So good, though.
It really is the best pizza. If I do say so myself. And I do say so myself.
That's right. Is that enough? I don't know.
Well, yeah, do that last one. Couldn't wait. Okay, you want to take over this,
Yep.
and I'll get the food processor, get every little lump out. And this is going to cook for at least 10 minutes. Just stab that dough. Okay, so now we are going to take our food processor. We are going to use, what would you call this, a bridge? This is a bridge. So this goes into your food processor. I know you guys all know this. And then you lock and load it, spin it into place, and that is the slicer part of your food processor. And of course, Billy did 89% of his job.
You said to cut them in half. And then in quarters?
So they need to fit into the food processor.
Oh, yeah.
How's that looking?
Very good. Smells amazing.
So these are red Bliss potatoes, and skin has been left on. And we're using the Red Bliss because I think they're perfect for this. They don't get too creamy. And with the right ingredients, they will get a nice crisp to them. Now, typically, you want to get your slices of potatoes nice and round. Wait a minute. You want to get your slices of potato nice and round, but Billy refused to find the mandolin. So we're doing it in the food processor, which is fine because we're just going to lay these out and it's going to be just fine. So now we're going to get the heat up going a little bit on this. We want this to almost turn beige, almost like a mushroom gravy it needs to kind of look. That means that the flour is cooking. We want that flour to be cooked for at least 10 minutes. You need to work it. You can't let it stick. You don't want it to be, you don't want brown bits in it. So now this milk has been sitting room temperature. You want it to be room temperature. Do you want to stir while I do this?
Yes, because the heat is high. The heat is on.
Okay, and we're going to slowly add the milk to the flour and butter and chicken stock and garlic, and what else is in there? Onion powder and garlic powder.
Yeah. See how she aggressively took that out of my hand?
Well, because you were doing it wrong.
That man, get out of the way.
The motto here is, if Billy can do it, anyone can do it.
You can get Haterade at your local Santoro store.
Will you turn this heat down a little bit?
How much?
You know, medium low. Yeah, well. Now we just need to get this all incorporated. Okay, so we just want to get this nice and smooth. And this is our sauce. Now, if you were going to use this for, let's say, a fish dish or a pasta dish, you would want to add way more milk. I've added almost a pound of butter, 2 cups of flour, and about a pint of milk. So if you were going to make this sauce for a pasta dish or a fish dish, you would lessen the flour and up the milk, just so that it would be smoother. How easy was that? Even Bill could do it.
Even Billy could do it, that kid.
That kid. Okay, so Billy, why don't you see how the pizza dough is doing? I bet it's ready.
You think it's ready?
I think so.
I think so too. She would have me take it out with my bare hands. But I'm not going to give her the satisfaction.
He's going to actually... Okay. So let's get this over here now.
Cut it off?
No, leave it on because this is going to go back in there. Okay, so as you can see, this looks like mashed potatoes. I amuse you like a clown.
Like a clown.
Okay, so let's get that over here. Get that with your bare hands.
Where's your arm? Another funny story, Miss T. One of the first days, back a long time ago, there was a day where she made, I think, a pizza crust, and she tried to grab the pan with her bare hands when it was scalding hot, and she threw it down on the ground like a hot potato. She was like,
Shall we tell them the story about the bees? And the gorilla in the tutu?
What did that have to do with the hot pan?
Because it was even sillier than my hot pan incident. Okay, so this...
Still makes her laugh when she's going to sleep.
Sometimes it does. So now we have this nice and toasted. So this is the first step.
So it's nice and toasted?
It's nice and toasted, and this is the first time that this gets baked. It's going to get baked not once, not twice, but 3 times. Okay. So now we're going to take our lovely bechamel and we're going to ladle it.
Oh.
Oh.
Feed me.
This really is the best, isn't it?
Ridiculous. I don't know how we're not rich already.
I don't understand it. And you want to get all the way to the corners. Look at that. I could hypnotize somebody with this. And these doughs, you could make several of these in advance and freeze them and just pop them out when you are out of ideas for supper, and you can put supper. And you can put whatever you like on here. Of course, you can use tomato sauce and whatever, you know, lunch meat that you have left over from the week that didn't make it into the sandwiches. You can put that right on top of there, like salami and prosciutto and capicola. Okay, here we have those potatoes. So now, just put them down, dear. There you go. You're going to cover your bechamel with these lovely red bliss potatoes. Get them into like 1 layer thick. You don't want them too thick. And this is where your rosemary and sage comes in. So now this particular recipe, when I was about 18 years old, my mom sent me to return a bag. We were in Florence, and it was really the first trip in Italy that I took by myself. Like, I just kind of got on the train on my own. I had been to Italy many times, but typically just to the beach and back, you know, and really didn't do any sightseeing because we went every single summer. So unless we had company, people visiting from America that had never been, we wouldn't do any of the touristy things. So really never had been on the train by myself. Anyway, my mother bought this bag that she hated in Florence and asked me to go ahead and return this bag for her. So I got on the train and went to return the bag. And at the train station, when I got off the train, I was starving. There was this little guy that had like a little carretto, a little a cart, a stand, and he was selling potato pizza. And I had that piece of pizza, and I just loved it. This is ground sage, and we're just going to whisper it on there just a little bit. You could use, if you're using fresh sage, use a little bit less. And I remembered it. Like, I didn't know then that, you know, I didn't cook a thing until I got married, so I really didn't even know I could cook until I had to cook. And then I realized I had talent. And so I remembered it, and when I recreated it, I changed it just a little bit. He used fresh mozzarella, but I like it better with just regular mozzarella, the shredded kind, because it's got a little more consistency to it. You could do it with the fresh mozzarella if that's what you have left over, or if that's what you prefer. Also, this makes a fantastic appetizer. Instead of serving it as a meal in, 8 slices, which this cuts into, you can cut it into little tiny squares and serve it as an appetizer. And if you keep these little doughs ready-made in your freezer, when 15 guys show up for the football game that you were not told were coming, you can just pull this out, top it with whatever, and it makes a nice...
Sounded like that's happened to you.
It has happened. It just happened this past Sunday. Okay, Bill, if you would pop this into the oven for me, dear.
You wanted me to see it? This pan's hot. You wanted me to grab it. That's it.
I knew that I would catch you eventually.
Eventually.
Captain. Bottom shelf. There you go. Awesome.
See, I feel better knowing that she had to cook for 15 people out of nowhere now.
Grab the cheese.
Good. I definitely felt that burning pan through this. Just letting you know.
Okay, so now we have these potatoes par-baked. So this is not the first time it's been baked, the second time it's been baked. So now we're going to take some regular mozzarella cheese, and we're going to cover the potatoes.
All the way to the corners. That's Tina's famous line.
Yes, no one wants pizza without cheese on it. Okay, and then some Parmigiano.
Parmigiano.
Mm-hmm.
You know how bad I wanted to say Dice di Messina there.
Dice di Messina. Now we're going to put some garlic powder and onion powder over the top. And some head of herb. Just a little drizzling. And now we're going to put it in the oven and let it finish baking until it's golden brown. So now it'll sit in the oven for 10 or 15 minutes until it's perfectly golden brown, crispy throughout because it's been baked 3 times. That dough is going to be almost like a pastry dough. Look at that.
Awesome.
Perfectly golden brown.
You want to do the incision or you want me to?
I will.
There, you can hold the... Yum.
You hungry, honey?
Yep.
Look at that. So we're going to cut it into 8 because we're having it for supper. But like I said, you can cut this into smaller pieces. So if you were going to cut this into appetizer size pieces, you would cut it down the middle, then go here, and then here and here. So you would just basically quadruple it. Oh, okay, I made that big. Well, that's it for today.
Yeah,
how fantastic is that?
The perfect potato pizza.
It really is. It's smooth and crunchy and...
Tell people where they can get it.
At Santoros Deli in Dedham. If you don't, you saw how easy it was to make, but if you don't have the time, you can always call me down at the deli and I'll put one together for you in no time. You can also take it par-baked. We do the first 2 steps for you. So in other words, we bake the dough and the potatoes and then put the cheese on it and you finish it off in your own oven, or you can have it completely made. Either way, thanks for coming, you guys. Hope to see you the next time on Bon Appetina.